What's up, Andropolis Nation? Tonight, get ready, guys, because tonight you got to elevate your fantasy football game because we've got a living legend in the house. We have none other than the master of best ball himself. We have Eaglezzz. I'm refer to Eaglezzz as James for the rest of the night. So how you doing tonight? How you doing tonight, James? How you doing?
Oh man, the kids, I'm back at home, busy day. Kids are getting into bed or whatever, and now we get to draft Best Ball Mania. Yeah, this is what I love, drafting best ball teams. So, and I love to have like another person to talk through like the theory and whatnot. So, yeah, excited to a late night best ball draft here.
Yeah, I mean, we love best ball over here, and so I having you on the show for the first time, I'm really curious. Just it's like some high level questions that I have, just more about like the way that you attack best ball mania, the way that you attack best ball in general. So, like my first question that I had was, what are the key principles that you have like top of mind when you're drafting a best ball team?
There's so much data out there, and there's so much just content everywhere you look now, and especially this year, like we've hit like the peak of maybe not the peak of best ball, but this is as much content as we've ever had. And I mean, you can just search on YouTube and watch like 5 different streams a day now for best ball. So like I like to consume that, like not all of it obviously, but I'll have a select few that I always tune in. I want to hear what certain websites are talking about and how they're drafting and whatnot, because I really feel like that reflects the draft rooms that I'm in. And then I like to draft like 3 to 5 teams at a time, and that really helps my process as well.
Wow.
I guess with best ball mania though, I don't do like the 3 to 5. Maybe I'll do like 1 to 3 teams, kind of depending, because I want to like focus a little bit more on those, because it is a different contest to attack. So I don't know what principles. I mean, I've been playing this game a while, so I've played like the 4 years here now in Underdog, and before that I was on draft for 2-3 years, and then I even started the best ball 10s and MFL 10s or whatever back in the day. So it's just a lot of experience, a lot of tough beats and things like that along the way. So now it's just I feel like I have a good process. I don't know. It's like everything I've learned, and now I'm just drafting and having fun doing it.
Yeah, I mean that's the whole goal, right? Have fun and then try to win money. But the thing that you said that really resonated with me was that the draft rooms really reflect kind of like the content that's being put out there, because that's kind of like you see that almost one to one. Like someone posts a tweet and that player steams up in ADP or they fall in ADP depending on what the tweet was. Are there any like websites or content websites or creators that you typically like to consume content from?
Yeah, I'll tune into like a few. So like ETR is probably like they're kind of the ones that I see a lot of people getting rankings from. So to me, like I know like most draft rooms, you're gonna have a few ETR guys, and you already know like kind of you can spot them pretty quick when they're drafting. You kind of know their styles. So yeah, I respect them a lot. But I feel like they kind of all their drafters kind of are doing the same thing. So I don't know if I like agree with that. But then there's like Spike Week. They've been great. Like Roto Grinders crew, Eric's great. So I always kind of check in with them. I really love Rob King Coakley. Like I like his stuff. Like I feel like anytime I hear him and see his exposures, like I'm kind of right on line with him. Obviously, Overzet kind of owns the best ball social media market right now. So like
Yep.
anything he's saying definitely influences this game we're playing. So
Mm-hmm.
definitely tune into what he's saying. A lot of his podcasts are like the Swolecast and whatnot. And ADP Chasing is probably my favorite podcast out there. I don't know if you've listened to that one. I think it's like Sam Sherman. Is it Sam Sherman? Well, yeah, I really like him. Like he's probably one of my favorite voices in best ball. So I feel like he's pretty like I don't know how to say it. Like a lot of people are on the same players and the same takes, but he pushes back a little bit. Oh, or maybe he'll say like, "Oh yeah, like Juju is actually pretty good best ball player," and
I
things
like
like that.
Juju.
Where a lot of people, yeah, no, so do I. But I think a lot of people are very player takey in the game we're playing, and they just discount that. Like the whole point of this game we're playing is to get as many fantasy points as we can
Right.
each week and look for those spike weeks. And I just feel like a lot of players have a lot of value that are being talked down in kind of in like the Twitter best ball space.
So you mentioned something that kind of piqued my interest. You said people are getting like a lot like really player takey. Do you typically try to stay away from player takes and draft using a different strategy?
That's the way I used to draft a lot. So I would have favorite players, and I wouldn't be afraid to like drive their ownership, my own player ownership. So like 3 years ago, like Lamar Jackson, I love, so I'm just gonna push him around ahead or whatever, and then I'm gonna have like 45% of Lamar Jackson. But like lessons have been learned there, and that's not what I do anymore. I could still love that player, but I don't need 45%. Like the thing is, Patrick Mahomes and Jalen Hurts and Josh Allen, like they're all in the same bucket. Like, so you don't need to go 30% on one of those QBs or something like that. You can spread it out and get 10% of each, and then you're kind of setting yourself up nice. So things like that I've kind of learned. And like the player takes, my whole attack on these contests is more value based. So I work for football guys, and that's kind of how they've attacked fantasy football. And like Joe Bryant was one of the originals, looking at value drafting. So I've kind of adapted that to my best ball game as well. But I've actually seen this year a lot of people. You see a lot of ADP risers and fallers. Like everyone's talking about that now. There's podcasts, there's articles, and the importance of that. So this is the first year I've really seen that. Like last year, I didn't really see that a lot. Like so. Those are what's valuable to me, is more the value drafting, but also I want to like that player. And then the next step, I want to look at my player ownerships. And if I see, two players, for instance, let's say like a Tony Pollard or a Saquon Barkley, and I know like the market's driving up like a Pollard right now, but I don't need to be 20% on Pollard and only like 5% on Barkley. So I'd rather have both of those more like 10% each. So things like that I've kind of fine tuned in my game. So.
Okay, I like that. I really like that, like the managing of the player exposures. But okay.
Yeah.
I think we've done enough talking. Do you agree, James?
Yeah, no, and there's going to be a lot of talking as you're drafting. So that's
agree.
actually the best to kind of show like how you draft and how you think. So yeah.
So let's go ahead and let's just jump straight into a draft room. So I see there's 15 people in the live stream right now. So let's go ahead and just hop into a Best Ball Mania draft. It's probably going to fill pretty quickly.
Yeah, that was great. No, that was good though. There was still like 6 or 7 spots for people to join.
Yeah,
so
we'll probably have some friends from the stream on here. But do you have a favorite draft spot that you like the most this year?
So I've learned to like every spot, so I don't care. So like that's the thing.
I like that.
I actually enjoy that's part of the game that I love of best ball. So yeah, give me the 12 spot, give me the 7 spot, and give me the first. Yeah, I'll take Jefferson, whatever.
Yeah.
So like,
yeah.
But like even if I get the 101 and I take Jefferson, I want to like my 2-3 turn. Like I really pay attention to kind of making that different, because that turn can always seem the same, and every draft feels the same. Like you take Jefferson round 10, you're trying to look for Cousins, So
right.
I try not to be the same in any draft I'm in.
If you take Jefferson, do you prioritize getting a guy like Cousins?
No, not at all. So I would, if he falls to me, like a lot of times, a lot of people aren't going to take Cousins. So you can, even if you're the Jefferson owner, you can push it like around. And that comes in with my value drafting too, where
I see.
Yeah, I want my stack, but I want my value over the stack. So that's kind of how I play it. So it's like I'd rather take Jefferson and then the 2-3 turn take like Lamar and Mark Andrews, and then I don't need the Cousins later. So
right. Okay. I've seen that done a lot. Like there's been a lot of drafts I've been in where like Jefferson goes 1-on-1 and then they go Lamar, Mark Andrews.
It's happened. It's happened more so lately, but like a month ago, no one was doing it that way.
Okay, so the players are flying off the board. Anyone pop out to you straight off the bat?
Yeah, so probably the 9 is a hard spot. So I know, like I've been off Bijan lately, so I haven't drafted him for like a month.
Okay.
So I feel like he's more of a second round guy to me. I'd rather have Chubb over him. I'd rather have Pollard over him, and even Barkley. You could probably just go Diggs. That's the safe way, or I'd go Chubb. Those are the.
So, I think because I think there's a pretty big teardrop after like this Diggs, Lamb, even Amon-Ra tier sort of players. So hopefully one of these other running backs will still be there at 2-4, and then we can go ahead and grab a running back with our second pick.
Yeah, and a lot of these I play too, where my first 8 picks, I'm only taking running backs and wide receivers, and unless a tight end or a QB falls to a stack or something like that. So that's kind of how I play a lot of my first. Yeah, because I like to kind of by around 8 have like 2-3 running backs, or and 4 or 5 receivers. So.
Okay, well, this is the 2 guys that you were talking about, is Saquon or Pollard. Do you have a preference?
Yeah, I would. Go ahead. I mean, I would probably go Pollard, but yeah, that's the thing. Those 2 always pop up, so I would check like your overall ownership. If you're higher on one, I would just swap them in my rankings and just kind of be mindful of that.
Yeah, I think I have about 10% of both, so it's pretty even between those 2. It's hard to get high exposures for the first and second round guys, just because like that means you have to be taking them in so many drafts.
Right.
So I think my highest exposure in the first 2 rounds is like Amon-Ra St. Brown at like 15%. But it's tough to get over that sort of exposure for me.
Yeah, no, I agree. I think mine was like Cooper Kupp, because I had him like ranked 3rd before the injury and everything. So people would let him go to 4th and 5th because they'd take McCaffrey and Tyreek over him. So I was just like I probably had like 22% Kupp at one point. So
okay, I mean, I love Kupp this year. I think the injury is a little bit overblown in my opinion.
Yeah, no, I'm still drafting him, and now he's fallen to like pick 6, 7. So it's usually around 5 is probably average where he's going now.
Yeah, but okay. So we started off our room with Tony Pollard, Stephon Diggs. I like it so far. What are you doing with someone like Jonathan Taylor? Are you still drafting him?
Depends. So sometimes I'll take him if I start 2 running backs and put him as my 3rd running back. Like I feel like that's kind of a fun way to go. Yeah, I don't know. He's tricky. I think for tournaments, like he's fine because you're either going for those players or you're not anyway. So you're looking for, if you can get a 3rd round Taylor and he is like a top 3 running back, like he probably can be, then I think it's worth it. But if he's not, you might lose a little value, but maybe he's only a 4th or 5th round pick. I don't know. So I don't think it's killing you in the 3rd round to take him. Okay.
That's kind of how I think about it too. I actually have a team where I went Christian McCaffrey, Derrick Henry, Jonathan Taylor, and that team felt pretty good. So hopefully that team makes it far. But I was, before the trade request, whenever Jonathan Taylor was there in the 3rd round, I would be taking him almost every time.
Yeah, like early in the off season, I was taking him in the 1st round. So
me too. Me too.
I actually thought he was like one of the best values. But yeah, just it's been that whole dilemma has been awful. Everything else been resolved, but that one.
I have a feeling like it feels very similar to like the Austin Eckler trade request thing and like early in the offseason where like they said, okay, you can go like look for trades, and then he ends up just re-signing with the team. I kind of feel like that's what's going to happen.
It feels like
I'd be really surprised.
Bridges have been burned though. Like it feels like a little bit more like he's pissed at the owner and the owner's pissed at him. And
that's true. That is very true. The Jim Irsay tweets have been cryptic and weird.
Yeah. But I think you have a good point though. You look at their depth chart at running back, it's like shit. Like
it's barren.
It's garbage. So like they need him.
They need him.
They have a rookie QB. They have like these like fine wide receivers, but nothing special. Like he's
the guy.
He's the face of that offense. If they want to have a chance in that division, they're going to need them.
So I think if he falls here in the third, I think we take him. JT at 3.9. That's kind of wild.
Yeah, and I think people are going to be if we don't hear any information in the next week still, like I bet you he goes in the 4th round here soon too. Like people are just going to get scared.
That's probably true. So we'll see if I think both of these guys are in the stream. Let's see if either of them want JT. If not,
I actually like him. Like the one guy who doesn't have a running back yet. It's like I wouldn't take him as him, but like for us having Pollard, I like him as like an RB2. Like I would want a running back 1 before I took Taylor in the 3rd.
I agree with that. Pollard. Okay, so Taylor's here for us. I say we just take the risk.
I think you have to because look at you don't want Amari Cooper or like any of those other guys. I think he's the better play.
Yeah, I think the only guy like maybe would be like Jahmyr Gibbs, but I like Taylor's just like if he plays, he's going to be a beast. It's Jonathan Taylor.
Yeah, and even drafting him here, I think we can kind of make our lineup like a little bit safer down the road too to what we do at running back. So I don't think he's going to be a huge risk like 3rd round getting a 1st round talent if he does play. If he doesn't play or holds out a few games, like he's still going to get us points down the road. So like he's not going to sit out the season.
No, I'd be shocked if he did because he's still on his rookie contract, right? So like he's not getting paid a ton of money, and like it wouldn't advance his contract a year. So that would just be bad for him all around.
No. And here like I like the DJ Moore, I like the Mike Williams. I want these guys that like you have a chance to get Fields like coming in the 5th round, or you get a chance to get like Mike Williams go there? So then you would have a chance to get like
they both just went
Herbert. So yeah. I don't mind ETN here. Or
I like ETN. Okay.
I like Christian Watson a lot too. I think the spike weeks are really fun with him, and I'm a believer in Jordan Love, so that's why I like him as well. Like Jordan Love is my QB2 on a team.
Let's go Christian Watson. I'm a Jordan Love believer too. I like the Packers offense just all around. I feel like people are just sleeping on the Packers this year, like very, very heavily. And Christian Watson, he's the wide receiver 1 on that team, so I like it.
Well, and he just like the spike week potential in that dude. Like when he gets a touchdown, he gets 2 touchdowns. You know, like he just goes off.
He does. I mean, he's what like 4 or he's like 6'3", like 220 pounds. And he runs a 4.3 40. Like that's ridiculous.
No,
he's got.
And even if we're wrong on the Packers, because I like the Packers as well, and maybe they are a bad team. If they're a bad team, they're going to be losing games, and he's just going to pile up points. Like I feel like he's going to pile points up if they're a bad team or a really good team. He's going to be the reason why. So
I'm going to show you something that might shock you a little bit. So I want to show you the projections for that Fair Analytics has for each of the NFL offenses, how much they're going to score this year. We have the Packers as the 5th highest scoring offense this season.
I mean, that doesn't shock me, to be honest. Like, I feel like they're underrated offense. Like I'm attacking them all the time. I'm taking.
I love that. I
I'm
love that
taking
so
Aaron
much.
Jones. I'm taking Dylan. I'm taking Watson. I'm taking Dobbs. I'm taking like Musgrave. Like they just really have all around a solid depth to their offense. So
Oh, that's amazing. I love it. I love it. I love that you're in line with that because I mean we have Tony Pollard from the Cowboys who we have at 1. We have Stephon Diggs from the Bills who we have at 4. Christian Watson from the Packers who we have at 5, and then Jonathan Taylor from the Colts who we have at 12.
yeah, I mean if you take Jonathan Taylor off the Colts, like the Colts are going to drop down in like the 20s, right? So that's kind of where they need them.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like it just feels so much like the Austin Eckler situation to me. I mean, like he's gonna come back probably next week because the deadline's on Tuesday, right? So
yeah,
I think they said because they have to cut down all rosters to 53 by Tuesday of next week. So Taylor's either gonna be on that roster or not. So we'll know a definitive answer by Tuesday of next week. This is one that feels really crazy to me. Alexander Madison. How do you feel about that one?
I'm fine with him. I mean, I don't like it because he took Jefferson, so I don't know. That's a weird build to me, taking Jefferson and then Madison. And yeah, I don't know. It's fine because he's at the turn. So like if he likes Madison, you're not going to get him at the next 6-7 turn, So like I don't hate it. Like I think picking at the turn, you have to do different things. So I mean, he could have swapped it and took Jones in the 4th and then Madison in the 5th, and you would have even thought it was different.
That's true. That's true.
I actually do that a lot on players. Like when I'm at the turn, I'll just take a player first that's way down my list to kind of like why is this guy taking this guy here?
Rattle the room. I love that. Okay.
I'm not a Madison guy though. Like I actually like Ty Chandler in the 18th round.
I like Ty Chandler too. Okay, weird range of players here.
So
I like Deontay.
I
like Hawkinson too.
I like Pierce here. That's weird for me to say, but I like
Dameon Pierce.
Yeah, I know, and that's almost like the Madison pick that the guy just did, right?
Honestly, like I like Dameon Pierce, but I don't have much of him. Like I think my exposure is pretty low on Dameon Pierce. So honestly, like it works, especially with the Jonathan Taylor. Like let's say Jonathan Taylor misses a few games. I like that. Let's go Dameon Pierce here.
I mean, it's not a great take. You probably have Houston way down there, but I just don't like any of these receivers really as much.
I don't like any of these receivers either. I mean, he was like the only running back in that range either. And like, I don't think we have Houston that far down, and we have them as the 20th best offense. But like, as you can see, like after like the Seahawks at 7, like this is like a 50-point spread between 8 and 24.
I don't understand that Tennessee Titans one. Sorry, I get the Green Bay one, but the Tennessee is like you just think Henry's going to get 20 touchdowns or something.
Basically, Henry's going to be a beast this year. Okay, I have so much Derrick Henry this year.
See, and that's why I like Pierce here because I don't really like the Dobbins, Sanders, Akers. Like I think Pierce is
a weird range. I agree.
And I think around 6 and 7, you can still get really good wide receivers. So I'm thinking by round 7, we're going to have those 3 running backs and we'll have 4 receivers. So, like, to me, it's Godwin here.
Godwin. Okay. I'm down for Godwin. I don't have much Godwin, but I've had Godwin like every single year. And just because like since Brady's gone, I just haven't been on him at all. But let's go Godwin. I've been drafting a lot of Mike Evans.
I like both those guys. I think Mike Evans is really disrespected this year too.
I agree. I mean, he's had
people hate. That's the thing. People hate Baker, right? But who cares? We're not going to draft Baker. You're not going to stack Baker with anybody, or you're not going to take like the Tampa Bay quarterbacks are just off the board, and like Godwin and Evans just feel like value, and especially with Gage out now. So there's just Like who's the third guy? And that's what I don't know. I just feel like there's so much volume coming for those two.
Yeah, I saw you. You tweeted Kate Otten as the round 18 target. I like Kate Otten.
I mean, I don't love him, but it just makes sense. Like on a bad team, and I don't know, and he doesn't cost you anything, and he just helps your overall build. He's more of like a tight end 3 weight at the end, but
okay. Let's see. So we have 3 running backs, 3 receivers. I'm liking our build so far. We have a pretty solid team, especially if Taylor signs and that's solidified. This is looking to already be a monster. Let's see. So I guess when we're up in 12 picks. Let's see what people need. These guys need RB2s. This guy needs an RB2. He needs an RB2. So probably people are going to draft a decent amount of running backs before it comes back to us. And we'd probably be able to get some pretty solid receivers on the way back.
Yeah, that's how I was playing this. Probably 2 receivers here.
Yeah, that's how it feels. I don't think Hollywood or Pittman are going to make it to us. I guess Pittman doesn't make sense if we have Taylor.
People hate Pittman too this year. And
people do hate Pittman, but Pittman's going to get like 130, 140 targets.
Well, he just falls to me all the time in like the 8th round, and I'm just like, okay, 7th, 8th round, he's always there. What do you have? 99 catches last year. Like I get he didn't have a ton of yards.
Yeah, 99 receptions.
141 targets. Like that's nuts.
He's probably going to do it again. They didn't add anyone to the receiving room. They added Josh Downs, but I don't think he's going to steal too many of Pittman's targets.
Yeah, and it's also some leverage off Taylor. If like the Taylor thing goes on forever, like Pittman's just like a really good value right now.
That's true. Okay, well if Pittman's there, we'll click Pittman. Well, he got taken by Brian.
Yeah, so that's part of our strategy. We're just trying to talk these guys up so people will take the guys we don't want.
Exactly. But yeah, Pittman is an interesting one. Because like I feel like he's set to like bounce back from what he did last year, but we'll see. Okay, looks like the receivers are kind of going off the board.
Yeah, and that's fine. That's fine. Like we have 3 receivers locked down, and we can build out. It's like that's the thing. I never get nervous. Like I'm not going to reach on a receiver here because everyone else is taking them. Like I feel like we have 3 solid ones, and we can build out later.
I like Pitts here. My favorite. This is my favorite click in this range. Alvin Kamara.
Yeah, I was gonna say Lawrence was my favorite there.
He got taken. I early on in the offseason I had a ton of Lawrence, but I don't know. I've gotten cold feet on Lawrence recently.
I think he's like the Jalen Hurts of last year, going in the 6th round. I think he's like one of the best plays.
Wow. Okay.
I don't draft Kamara. If you want to, you can.
Well, I was gonna say Pitts was my immediate reaction.
I would go Elijah Moore here and I'll tell you why after. But I mean, I don't know.
I don't have a ton of Elijah Moore exposure. Let's go with Elijah Moore.
Because I feel like it's all, and I get like everyone that takes Elijah Moore is going to take Deshaun Watson, right? Like, so that's what I was getting at. Like, I feel like that's a nice stack that doesn't cost you anything really, but has like a ton of upside possibly. So usually if I miss out on Lawrence, like Watson's the next guy on my radar. But then if you miss out on Watson, like I feel like there's like 6 QBs that I like, and you can kind of just wait till the last one's on the board there. So
are you saying like we take were you saying take Watson here, or we push him down a round because we have Elijah Moore?
No, I think you take Watson here. Like if he falls to you. Yeah,
okay.
Sometimes people will snipe you, but like the next guy coming as Job, maybe he takes him.
Or the Cooper owner. Where's the Cooper owner? Cooper owner's back here. Oh yeah, he didn't take Deshaun Watson. That's surprising. Oh, he's probably going for Dak Prescott with the CeeDee Lamb.
Yeah,
which would make sense.
Yeah, and I think that tier, like Tua, Dak, Daniel Jones, like Cousins, Geno Smith, Richardson, they're all just there. So like if you miss out on all your stacks and stuff, you can just fall back on those guys usually.
I like that tier of quarterbacks. Let's go Deshaun. How do you feel about Deshaun Watson this year? How do you feel about the Browns in general?
I really like the Browns, so I don't know where they are. I didn't check where they were on your thing, but I just feel like their offense is built out nice too. Like we're as far as just all the depth positions, everything's, I don't know. It's just like a solid offense, and I just think there's going to be points there.
So yeah, the Browns.
I don't know about Watson though. Like I feel like he's worth the gamble when you get him an 8th round. Like I think that's worth it.
I mean, he's got insane upside. Like what he finished as QB5, 4 years in a row or 3 years in a row, 3 or 4 years in a row before he took a little hiatus.
Yeah, no, I mean, I'm not like supporting anything he's ever done, but we're just playing fantasy here, right? Like,
yeah, exactly.
So.
But okay, let's see. So we have a pretty solid roster all around. Is there any guys that you like to target in the next range of players?
So do you do your own rankings in there, or are you just using ADP right now?
I just use ADP just to get a better idea of how people are going to be drafting.
Yeah, so like I have my own like custom rankings that I do, and my rankings are like crazy because they're all like tier based kind of. So like I do so many drafts, like I actually know like there's 4 different receivers here, and once like the second or third guy is gone, you want to take that next guy because there's a big drop in that tier and things like that. So it helps me to not reach on certain positions and players and not worry about it. So that's kind of like one of the things I do.
How do you build those tiers?
I'll do about 10 drafts a day or whatever I do. I'll draft 2 or 3 and I'll see some things in my drafts, and then I'll just like adjust my ranks. Okay. I'll do another 2 or 3 drafts and I'll adjust my ranks again. So like my ranks are probably adjusted 2 or 3, 4 times a day. So that's what like I could never share my rankings because they're already just bad after a day.
They'd be outdated. Yeah. Wow. Okay. So you change your rankings based off of how people are drafting in the rooms, not necessarily off of ADP because market changes so fast.
Yeah, like I would never draft off ADP. I think it's like one of the worst things. And so like I get like you want to understand like ADP or whatnot, but like like I just don't want certain players even on my screen. So
no, that's fair. I mean, typically what I do is I'll like split screen, and then I'll have my rankings like on one screen and then like the ADP on the other, just to get like an idea of like, okay, will this guy have a decent chance of being there? Because I figure most people, the majority of drafters draft just off of ADP. So I want to like look at what they're looking at too.
Right.
Just so I can know like, okay, I have Kamara super high in my rankings. Am I going to be able to get him at this pick, or can I push him down around and get him the next pick? That sort of thing.
Yeah.
Okay. In this next range, I do like Michael Thomas.
Yeah, you can go ahead and.
I also like Juju.
You could take the tight end for the stack.
Doves.
Like I actually really like Doves here too, because then I would go Jordan Love, and I would even take Jordan Love a little sooner. Then you get the double stack.
I like Doves a lot. Let's go ahead and take Doves. Where does Jordan Love typically go? He goes at 151.
Yeah, we don't have to take him this next pick. Like he should be there the next turn. He usually goes like 13th or 14th round, I would say. Okay,
well, yeah, his ADP has him at 151, so that's right at our 13th round pick. And we have both the receivers, so I don't anticipate anyone sniping us there, but you never know. I guess
I
we'll.
don't like.
Yeah.
Are you a week 17 guy? Because I actually don't know who they play week 17, but I know people would be like, "Hey, if you do the double stack in Green Bay, you probably should get the other side there." So
So
like,
they play Minnesota.
okay, yeah,
I mean, I've been it's been one thing that like it's been a question in my mind like all offseason, like does week 17 matter? Should I be optimizing for week 17? So I have a few teams that like I did try and do that. But they don't feel that great. Unless it's like teams that are like project to be like really strong this year, then it works. All right. I think we can get David Njoku here now.
Yeah, that's what I do. Then you got a double on both teams. That's pretty nice.
Yeah. Okay. So we got the.
I mean, we still have to get Love, obviously, but that's the idea.
Okay. I'm liking this because these are players that I like, but I don't have a ton of exposure to. Because recently I've been drafting off of like our offense rankings, and we don't have the Browns like super high, but there's it doesn't necessarily factor in like Deshaun Watson's like historical values. So Deshaun Watson has obviously performed very, very well historically. So that could be just a gap in the model.
Yeah, and I mean I don't know if I'm right because like Deshaun Watson looked awful. He like ruined that. He honestly ruined that offense last year when he came in. Like I think if they didn't have Watson in there, they might have actually made the playoffs, and Chubb might have been like who you needed in the fantasy playoffs too, because he ruined Chubb too. So
yeah, so it could go both ways. It definitely could go both ways. So we'll see though. We'll see. I think we. Okay, it's week 6. I was just about to say like. So how do you feel about buys? Because for a second I thought it'd say Green Bay by week 5, and then like, oh man, we have to get Deshaun Watson and Jordan Love both by week 5. Means we have to get a third quarterback.
The onesie positions, I try not to do the buys like the same bye week because then you like that, and that's why I said at the first, like I know like a lot of people are doing that, but if you take Jefferson and then you take Lamar and Andrews, they all have week 13, so you never really kind of want to take Cousins anyway.
Yeah, that makes sense. Okay, we're 9 picks away. Feels like we should go running back.
Yeah, so I can tell you love the Saints, like that you're high on the Saints because you mentioned Kamara, you mentioned Michael Thomas.
Love Olave too.
Yeah, no, and I like that's funny because probably one of my highest owned players is Jamal Williams.
I love Jamal Williams.
And another one is Shaheed. Like I
love Rashid.
I just feel like those two are like crazy values, and you don't have any of the risks that Kamara or Michael Thomas have, and they're just like so far down the board. Like I'd rather build out my position with other players and then add them to my roster builds. But like I get like Kamara could be a really nice play, especially in these tournaments where he's going right now. Was he like a 7th, 8th round pick, right?
Yeah, 7th, 8th round. I think earlier on I was getting him in like 9th, 10th.
Yeah.
So he's just felt like a value to me all off season long.
Yeah.
But
and looking at this ADP right here, like I hate every single one of these players, so I don't even have a clue who we're gonna pick here. Like, I wouldn't want like Jamal Williams would be the only guy out of that whole list that I see that has any value.
Well, I like Jamal Williams, so if he's there for us, I think we're taking him. I'm curious, what are your thoughts on Jameson Williams?
I was on him pretty heavy there for a while. The last month, there's just been too many red flags, so and my ownership was fine. Like I was already good on him. If he falls far enough and he's your wide receiver 7-ish or whatever, yeah, why not? But
if he falls, he's going to fall
another 20. I feel like he's actually going to fall another like 20 spots before Best Ball Mania closes. So I think he's a bad pick right now, to be honest. Yeah.
Interesting.
People are like terrified to take him.
So
But as
we would be taking him 20
receiver
picks
pick,
after ADP
yeah.
to 22 spots after ADP. Oh, well, there he goes.
But I think that's the play with him. You want to just, hold off. Okay, I want to take him. Let me wait one more round. And then if you get him in that next round that you waited, then you take him.
Get it.
So
Yeah.
I don't think he's ever a guy you want to like over. So here, I like Mostert. Like, I think he's a sneaky play right now. Or you could do like a Dalton Schultz and be done at tight end. Just do 2 tight ends.
Mostert,
I don't know.
Dalton Schultz.
Or you could actually take Jordan Love here and just be done too.
I think let's go Jordan Love just because I don't like these tier players.
Yep.
Let's go ahead and take Jordan Love because it just feels kind of gross right here.
Yep. Yeah, and you already have the 2 Green Bay guys. I actually forgot about that last second. Like Mostert's a guy I've been starting to take just because Miami backfield's a mess.
Where does Jeff Wilson go now?
He's like 170.
163. Wow, they both kind of steamed up the ranks.
Oh yeah, Wilson was like in the 170s yesterday. So yeah.
Wow. Okay. Well, yeah, I remember Raheem Mostert was at like 165 not too long ago, and I was at 141. Wow, he's risen pretty quickly.
Yep. Yeah. If you want him, you got to get him now.
Okay. Well, we got the Deshaun Watson, Jordan Love with the 2 doubles. I like that. Maybe we could.
You could go triple here. You could take the
Green Bay tight end. We could take DPJ and the Luke Musgrave
and Jalen Reed. And
Jaden Reed. Just get all of them.
I actually don't think it's a bad strategy to actually draft these teams with only kind of focusing on like 4 or 5 teams only, and only take players from those teams too. But it's like hard to do, like the kind of, I don't know. But if it naturally kind of happens, it's kind of fun to do. So I would probably look for this kind of build that we got going. I would want like a younger running back, like maybe like a rookie for the second half playoff weeks. Like I would look for something like that, like a Roshan Johnson would be perfect. Or like a Spears, somebody like that. Like, yeah. And Miller or Spears, like those 3 like fit perfectly with and then you can be done at 5 running backs.
I like that.
Wide receivers get pretty thin, but I still like Gallup. I still like taking shots on Van Jefferson here and there, but mainly
I like both of those.
Who else? Alec Pierce is a guy I really like.
Oh, I love Alec Pierce. I have a decent exposure to Alec Pierce. 153. Who just got taken? I think Mingo. So 153. Should we prioritize Roshan or Alec Pierce? Hopefully, let's see what these guys have. So this guy only has 4 receivers. He's got 5 running backs, 3 running backs, 4 running backs. All right, this is.
And if you don't want to take a running back here, like I think they'll still fall another round, and you can get somebody. Like I just don't want to take like Zeke or something like with this build.
I don't either. Yeah,
you don't want like an old running back. You want somebody that's gonna do a little bit more for you.
I agree. So okay, Michael Gallup's still there too.
Yeah, I really like Gallup.
I really like Gallup too.
At the start of the year, I was like, Gallup's going to get more points than Brandon Cooks, but I've kind of like went back the other way a little bit. Like I know they're 7 rounds different or 6 rounds different in value, but I think Gallup's like a great wide receiver 6.
Gallup just got taken. Where does Cooks go? Yeah, Cooks goes in the 7th round. Gallup in the 13th. Yeah, that's a pretty big disparity between the 2.
And KJ Osborne's already gone, probably, I'm assuming.
Probably. I think he is, yeah. I have a decent amount of KJ Osborne, too.
Yeah, he's my highest owned player, so.
Really? Yeah, I think my highest owned player is Marvin Mims, this guy right here.
Yep, you're probably way ahead of the curve, too. What do you think of a Damian Harris? Like, I know, like we said, to not look for somebody there, but I just feel like that's pretty good value right now.
Yeah, he's fallen to the 13th. I like Damian Harris. I mean, he has so much touchdown upside.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah.
he's gonna be good.
I think that's the play I'd even go over the rookies here. So
I agree. Just because he's fallen so far, I think people are just scared of that hamstring that got reported like 2 weeks ago.
I mean, he led the league in touchdowns a few years ago, right? And 2 years ago?
Yeah, 2 years ago. 2 years
Yeah.
ago.
I think it's and you get a piece of the Bills. I get we have Diggs already, but still, like, yeah,
It's a good
there's
offense to have two pieces on.
no risk there.
Exactly.
Not where you got him. I don't think he was one of my highest owns. I feel bad. Yeah, like this is the perfect kind of team I always kind of draft. I like to kind of look more for the younger, kind of more upside guys. And then we got the double stacks, which is nice. Probably not like the most ideal. Most people don't want to stack, Deshaun Watson and Jordan Love, but I think it's not a bad play at all.
I think it's pretty unique. I don't know too many teams are going to stack the Packers and the Browns this year, and then especially having the running backs that we do. I think it's.
Mm-hmm.
I think I feel pretty good about this team.
Yeah. So here's another idea I throw out at you, like Kyler Murray. Like I don't think he'll fall back to us, but
If he does,
you could add him into a build like this, and then you could look for like the Trey McBride and the Michael Wilson, kind of around 17 and 18. So that's another. I know a lot of people don't like doing three QBs.
I'm not opposed to it. I've done a decent amount of three QB builds with like a Kyler Murray, or like I'll go like 3 late QB and then go like Daniel Jones, Kenny Pickett, Ryan Tannehill, or something like that.
Yeah.
But, okay, let's see. I do like the idea of Luke Musgrave if he falls.
Jake Ferguson's getting like steamed up too. Like he's probably going to be in the 150s when it closes. He's going to go up 20 more spots.
I have so much like 18th round Jake Ferguson. I love it. I love it so much.
Yeah, no, it's. I mean, even taking him in the 15th round now feels pretty good.
Yeah. Okay. I would like Rashid Shaheed on this team. I think he'd be a pretty nice player. See, we're at 2-5-6-1. So there's 3 picks left that we have. We probably want to hit at least 7 wide receivers and 2 tight ends, and I guess our last spot. If Kyler falls, we could go Kyler. Luke Musgrave just got taken. Yeah, I think the play is Kyler if he falls.
I like Hunter Henry as well.
I like Hunter Henry too.
Taysom, I'm not sure what to do. I feel like he's going to keep falling because people just are kind of on Jawan now, and like we don't really know what Taysom's role is, but no one ever knows what his role is any year.
he has the opportunity to play quarterback from the tight end position. That's what he is.
Which is, and like he likes to rush for the rushing touchdowns too, which is pretty unique.
Yeah, I mean he's just a football player. He gets used in every which way that you can think of.
Well, I'm not opposed to Thielen either, just falling this far too. So I saw like DJ Shark's a little bit dinged up.
Thielen just got taken.
Yeah, and it's not a guy like I'm actually get happy when someone takes him in front of you. Like I think I would go Shaheed here, or do you want to do the 3 QBs? I don't think you need to do the 3 QBs.
Okay.
And I think wide receivers really drop off.
Let's go Shaheed, and then if Kyler makes it back to us, we'll go Kyler. And if he doesn't, Hunter Henry. Kyler just gets taken. So we could go Hunter Henry. I think Hunter Henry is the play. Wow, Mechie's falling? That's surprising to me. Does Tank Dell go like way ahead of Mechie now?
Yeah, he does.
Tank Dell goes at 172.
Yeah.
Huh. I still feel like Mechie's going to be the guy there.
I feel like he goes undrafted sometimes now. Yeah, people are out on him. Like, it's so quick. People turn so quick on this stuff.
Yeah, that's pretty crazy to me, actually. Okay, so Hunter Henry.
Or Curtis Samuel. I think you could go Curtis Samuel here and then do 2 tight ends. Like, that's
Let's go ahead and
probably
do
how
that.
I'd do it.
I don't have enough Curtis Samuel, and I'm a Washington fan, so got to get my boy.
I think he has some rushing touchdowns in him too, right? Like,
He always
and
does.
you get McLaurin, yeah, maybe he misses a week or two and then re-aggravates his injury, and yeah, like Samuel just
Curtis Samuel's the guy that you need.
Wide receiver 8 on a team, yeah.
So we have all right. So far we got Deshaun Watson, Jordan Love as our quarterbacks, Tony Pollard, Jonathan Taylor, Damian Pierce, Jamal Williams, Damian Harris as our running backs, Stephon Diggs, Christian Watson, Chris Godwin, Elijah Moore, Romeo Doubs, Alec Pierce, Rashid Shaheed, Curtis Samuel as our wide receivers, David Njoku as our lone tight end. But it looks like we're going to go double tight end to close out the draft. Yep. I like. Ooh, this is kind of interesting. I like Mayer down here, honestly. I like Mayer. I like McBride. I like Otten.
I'm a big Hayden Hurst guy, but I've had to dial back because his ownership got so high with me. Like, he was like one of my top 5 players drafted. So
honestly, that when the contest opened, Hayden Hurst I was drafting every single draft. And I have not drafted him since then.
I like Conklin a lot too. So just because now you got Corey Davis retiring now too, so there's touchdown upside there and more targets maybe.
I remember tweeting out that Conklin was like top 3 in tight end targets through like 6 weeks last year.
Well, and Rodgers is going to lock onto somebody like him. And it might not be every week, but I feel like there's spike weeks with him for sure built in.
I can definitely see that. I definitely can see that. So having Conklin, honestly, like a tight end room of Njoku, Conklin, Hurst would feel pretty nice.
Like, yeah, these are always my favorite builds to wait on. Like, I wouldn't even go into Njoku that early, right? And I would just take 3 of any of these guys, and I just didn't care.
I mean,
because it just helps you build out your running backs and your receivers. But I also switch back and do elite tight ends too. But I kind of don't take any of the tight ends in the middle. So, like, I have like 0 Ingram, and like I have no Darren Waller, which I tweeted a few days ago, and that feels like it's gonna kill me, right? Because yeah.
I mean, he looks like a beast. He looks like he's going to be a very high target earner on that team. All right, let's go Conklin. But yeah, Waller looks pretty good. I do have a decent amount of Goddard. Have a little bit of Goddard just because I'm a big fan of Goddard this year. And then I think my most exposed tight end is Pat Freiermuth.
I actually like him, and he actually falls here and there in drafts too, which is always surprising. So then when he falls like around, I'll scoop him up.
I think he's a pretty solid tight end. He gets a ton of targets every year, so he's always fun to
draft. Nice. I like Hurst here. It's up to you.
No, I've been a big Hurst fan all of the way through Basketball Mania until like it hit like July, and I was like, I have way too much Hayden Hurst, so I stopped.
I just feel like this kind of build right here, you're getting a lot for your $25. Like, I feel like you're going to be a top 4 team in a 12-team league if you draft like this. Maybe you only finish 3rd or 4th, but I feel like you have a decent shot to advance this team. And then if you get in, you got round 2, like you have some nice stacks that maybe not everyone's going to have that Cleveland stack or the Green Bay stack. So I think you set up a nice little team here. And every position, I feel like you're going to get points every week, and almost some good spike weeks along the way. So I think it all comes down to Jonathan Taylor for us, right?
Yeah. If Jonathan Taylor signs before Tuesday, then this team is money.
Yeah.
I think that's going to do it. I think that's going to do it for us, folks. This is it's been a fun draft. It's been fun drafting with you, James. I know we drafted against each other at the Expo. How do you feel about that Expo team that you drafted?
Yeah, I don't like redraft. So I mean,
You don't like redraft, okay?
Yeah, no, it was fun to hang out with everyone, and whatnot, and it's fun to always have that big draft board and stick the stickers on, and chat and get people's see how they think through drafts and whatnot. So no, that was awesome. Yeah, to meet you there and to draft with you. Yeah, and a couple weeks later we're drafting together again. So yeah, fantastic.
Yeah, this is a ton of fun. This is a ton of fun. Well, probably the next time we'll meet in person is next year's Expo?
I don't know. It's my 20-year wedding anniversary on August 10th, and that's when the Expo is next year. So
man.
I'll probably be in Mexico.
Well, I'll make sure to send over a congratulations to you because 20 years, it's a long time. That's a big deal.
Oh yeah, it's we've made it in life almost.
Wow, that's incredible. Well, and that's gonna do it for us today, guys. Thank you everybody for joining the stream and watching James and I draft this team, and thank you, James, so much for coming onto the show and drafting this team with me.
Yeah, no problem. I hope you min cash this thing and get knocked out in the second round.
That's typically what happens, right?
Yeah.
But all right, folks, have a good night.